Good morning everyone and welcome to the second webinar about Valsir BIM solution. I'm Paolo Donati, an engineer from Valsir Technical Office. We are just waiting that some other people can join us. Meanwhile, I would like to spend a couple of words to describe my company. Valsir is an Italian company located in the north of Italy, near Garda Lake, and we mainly manufacture plastic pipes for thermohydraulic applications. The 100% of our production is in Italy, and we are speaking about plastic pipes for wastewater systems with particular attention to the soundproofing characteristics of them, water supply and gas supply systems with our multi-layer pipes, underfloor heating systems, heat recovery ventilation systems, siphonic roof drainage system, bathroom systems, and many others. Before starting, just a couple of information for you. If you haven't been able to follow the first webinar about Valsir BIM solution, you can find it on our social channels, such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you have some questions during this webinar, you can write it down in the window of the comments, and I will be very glad to answer you at the end of my presentation. In the first webinar, my colleague, Engineer Paolo Lonesio, explained you the BIM philosophy and how to use our Revit models with all their characteristics. Today, we are going to discuss about two applications that we developed for the Revit software. These are the product line placer and the clip tool. So let's start with the first one, the product line placer. So the first question is, where can we find it? On the website page of Valsir, www.valsir.it/software, we can find all the Revit models that you can download very easily. We can find the clip tool that will be the topic of the second part of our webinar. You can find all the models for another BIM software, Plancal Novel. That is a software widely used in France and in Germany. Of course, this is not the topic of our webinar, but if you have some questions about Plancal Novel, don't hesitate to contact us. In the upper part of the web page, we can find the product line placer. By clicking on Download App, we are opening the web page of Map Content. Map Content is the name of our partner with whom we developed the product line placer. By clicking on Download, with very few clicks, we can download it and install it inside Revit. We have developed the product line placer for the Revit version from 2017 up to 2020. We are now developing even the version for the Revit 2021, and it will be available very soon. We are now opening a model inside Revit. In this case, we are opening a generic model like a mechanical model. By clicking on OK, we are going to see that inside the environment of Revit, in the upper part, we will find the label Map Content. By clicking on it, we are having a new option that is Valsir, the icon Valsir. By clicking on it, we are going to see three different options: Valsir, Optimize Auto-Routing, and Map Content Browser. With the first one, we can open a new window that is the window of the product line placer. What's the main advantage by using the product line placer? The main advantage is that we can load directly inside software Revit all the families of items that we want to use inside our project. For example, a MEP project for a wastewater system, a gas or a water supply system. So differently from a traditional use of Revit, where a designer has to download all the families of items from an external website and then to load them inside Revit, with the product line placer we can skip one step. With the option Optimize Auto-Routing, we can set some connection preferences that I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes with another example. If we don't find a particular item inside the product line placer that we want to use inside our project, we can open the Map Content Browser. inside the map content browser, we can check and we can find the item that we want to use. We can download it and load it again directly inside Revit. So if we are clicking on Valsir, we are opening a new window. The first option, we can select the type of system that we want to use inside our project. The first 5 that are highlighting here are for a wastewater system. We manufacture as Valsir 4 push-fit system, Blackfire, PV3, Sea Layer and 3+, and 1 weldable system, the HDP. Or we can decide to select a water supply or a gas supply system. We are speaking about system because inside each of them we are going to find the entire range of families for the pipes, fittings and accessories. For this particular example, we are using Valsir Blackfire, and now we are selecting a length of the pipe. As Valsir for push-fit system, we are manufacturing pipes of different lengths, from 15 centimeters up to 3 meters. Selecting 1 meter, we are now selecting the external diameter, 32. This is the entire range for the Valsir Blackfire, from 32 millimeters up to 160 millimeters. And we are clicking on OK. We have just to wait a couple of seconds that the application is loading, as you can see, the entire range of families of pipes, accessories and fittings inside our project. Don't worry if in the previous window we selected the external diameter 32, because as you can see, actually, the application is loading the entire range of diameters from 32 up to 160, because we are speaking about Valsir Blackfire, and the entire range of lengths of the pipes from 15 centimeters up to 3 meters. But how can we use the product line placer? I'm going to show you a new video. Inside this example, we are simulating a bathroom, a wastewater system, where we have the same bathroom in the first floor and in the second floor. By using the normal commands that we have inside Revit, we can connect our plumbing fixture to the vertical down pipe in order to create our wastewater system. In this particular example, we are using another push-fit system, Valsir 3+, with very high acoustic performances. As you can see, we are now connecting the flushing system to the vertical down pipe, and with another click, we are connecting the spigot band that is representing, for example, a wash basin to the horizontal branch of the flushing system. If we are making a zoom in the connection area, we are going to see that we have a problem with the direction of the flow. As you can immediately understand, the direction is not correct. But don't worry, because we are going to solve the problem by using the optimized auto-routing. For the connection between the horizontal pipe and the vertical down pipe, the application is using a 45 degrees T branch plus a 45 degrees band. For the realization of the transition between the vertical down pipe and the horizontal collector, the application is using a 90 degrees band. From an acoustic point of view, this is not the best solution, because we can increase the turbulence that we can experience inside our system. Increasing the turbulence means that we are increasing the vibration. Increasing the vibration again means that we are increasing the noise level. So how can we change the connection preferences? Simply by using Optimize Auto-Routing, we are opening a new window. Inside this window, we can set some connection preferences. We can set the connection preferences for the vertical bands. We can set the connection preferences for horizontal bands, and even if you want to realize particular transition. For example, instead of using for the transition between a vertical pipe and an horizontal pipe a 90 degrees band, we can decide to use two 45 degrees bands. For the realization of the connection between an horizontal pipe and a vertical pipe, we can decide to use, instead of a 45 degrees T branch plus a 45 degrees band, a 90 degrees T branch. We can use the two 45 degrees bands even if you want to realize a change of the direction for horizontal pipes. And if you want to realize a transition between a smaller diameter to a bigger one, we can decide to use, for example, an eccentric increaser. We are clicking on OK. We have now to select the entire system or a part of the system where we want to change the connection preferences. We are clicking on Finish, and then we have to select the ending point of the system or the ending point of a part of the system where we want to change the connection preferences. If we are making a game, this is important, this selection, because in this case the software, the application is able to understand which will be the right direction of the flow. As you can see, in fact, we have solved the problem with the direction of the flow. For the realization of the transition between the horizontal pipe and the vertical down pipe, we are now using a 90 degrees T-branch. This could be a better solution with respect to the previous one, because we can decrease the velocity of the flow that is entering inside our wastewater system. Again, decreasing the velocity means that we can decrease the vibration, and we can decrease the sound, the noise level inside our system. For the transition between a vertical pipe and an horizontal pipe, we are using now two 45 degrees bands. The same options that we have for the base of our wastewater system. Another thing that we can do with the product line placer is that we can automatically create a schedule of material, or we can automatically create labels for the items inside our project. As you can see, by clicking on this option, we can decide for this particular example to create a schedule of material only for the fittings. And by clicking on Create, we have to wait just a couple of seconds, and the application is create a table like this. Inside this table we have different information. For example, the total number of items inside our project, the type of wastewater system that we are using, Valsir 3+, the type of item, a circular band, a circular reducer, and so on, a very short description of the item, 45 degrees bands, 87 degrees T-branch, and so on, and even the code article. As you can see, we have some empty rows. This happens when the application is not able to recognize inside the catalog that is loaded inside the application a particular item of, for example, Valsir. If we are highlighting the item inside our model, we can decide to change the selection, the family, and we are going to see that if we are coming back to our table of the schedule of material, now the empty rows disappeared, because now the application is able to recognize inside the Valsir catalog the item. As you can see, we have now the very short description and even the code article. To sum up what we have seen for the product line placer, we have an instant upload of families inside the project. We have an automatic optimization of project layout for vertical connection and horizontal connection. We have an automatic creation of schedule of material and even an automatic creation of labels. Let's pass now to the second topic of our webinar, the clip tool. So the first question is, where can we find it? Again, at the same web page that I was showing you in the first part of our webinar, www.valsir.it/software, we can download the application and we can install it. The second question is, why did we decide to develop the clip tool? In order to answer to this question, we can start from a real example. This is an high-rise building that was designed and built in Colombo, the capital of Sri Lanka. Here the designers decide to use the BIM philosophy in order to create the avatar models of the building. And inside these buildings, for the wastewater system, the designers decide to use our Revit families. But what's the problem? The problem is that usually the designers are avoiding to add the bracketing system because it's a time-consuming operation. It means that it requires a lot of time to put all the brackets around all the pipes of a system. That's why we decided to help them and to develop the clip tool, so we can pass from an amazing and well-done project, but incomplete, to a complete one, as we can see from the comparison of the two images. Of course, in this kind of installation, all the pipes were attached to a structural slab, and all the vertical pipes were inside a technical shaft. If we are making an installation with all the pipes embedded in concrete, of course we wouldn't need a bracketing system. Just to give you a couple of information about this project, here the designers decide to use our ventilation branch fitting. This is a particular fitting that is widely used when we are speaking about an high-rise building, because it allows the designers to avoid to use the parallel ventilation. If we are not using the parallel ventilation, we can decrease the total cost of the installation, the total amount of material that we need to make the installation. We can decrease the dimension of the technical shaft, so we can increase the living area that we can sell, and we can even increase the performances of our system. Of course, this is not the topic of our webinar, but if you are interested in such an innovative application, please don't hesitate to contact us. How can we use the clip tool? I'm going to show you a new video. Here we are simulating a very simple example of a wastewater system. We have an horizontal collector that is changing its direction and then is coming down in a vertical down pipe. Here we have a 3D view and two cross-sectional views, and we are using again the Valsir 3+. In the upper part of the software Revit, we can find the label Valsir. By clicking on it, we have different options, as you can see. We can insert manually all the clips. We can insert automatically all the clips. We can cancel all the clips that, for example, we have previously added inside our project. We can set some options, and we can even use an option named Split Pipe. Let's start with the settings. By clicking on the icon, we are opening a new window. Inside this window, we have three different options: clip, clip spacing, and split pipe. With the first one, we can decide which kind of clip we want to use inside our project. We have a selection between light and heavy clips. The only difference is given by the dimension of the rod that is connecting our clip to the support surface. That could be, for example, a structural concrete slab or a vertical wall. Another selection is between a traditional clip or an acoustic clip. The difference is given by the anti-vibration strip that we are adding to the acoustic clips. In this particular example, we are using acoustic clips with flange plate, heavy. The other option is to define when a pipe has to be considered vertical. Why it's so important? Because we are going to see in a couple of minutes that we will have different rules for the horizontal and vertical spacing of our clips. The other option that we have in the lower part of the first window is that we can attach the clip to the support if possible. This means that if we have inside our project, if we have drawn a concrete slab, horizontal concrete slab for example, or a vertical wall, a support surface. If we are unselecting, attach the clip to the support if possible, we can decide to define a fixed rod length, for example 50 centimeters. For this example we are using the first option, attach the clip to the support if possible. By clicking on clip spacing we are opening a table. As I was explaining you in the previous part, here we have the different rules for the horizontal spacing and vertical spacing of our clips. These are defined based on the technical manual Valsir for a wastewater system. Just to make you an example, for a wastewater system with a diameter of 110, we will have for horizontal spacing 1.1 meters and for vertical spacing 1.7 meters. By clicking on Split Pipe, we will have another option. We can define a particular split length. Why should it be useful for us to have this option? If you remember, in the first part of our webinar, I was telling you that for a push-fit system as 3+, we manufacture pipes of different lengths, from 15 centimeters up to 3 meters. So if you want to have a correspondence with commercial lengths that we can find in the market, it should be useful for us to define a fixed split length. For example, we can decide to define 3 meters, that is the maximum length of the pipes that we are manufacturing, or even we can decide to use 2.5 meters. By clicking on OK, we are accepting the options for the selection, for example, of the clips that we want to use inside our project. Why is important? Because in this case, the application is loading directly inside our project the families for the clips that we are deciding to use. So this is another advantage very similar to the product line placer that we have seen in the previous part of our webinar. If we are selecting now the option Split Pipe, and we are selecting, for example, the horizontal pipe that we have here with a length of 7.1 meters, more or less, not considering the vertical wall and the vertical down pipe, we are going to see that the application is creating basically 3 different pipes, with the first 2 with a dimension of 2.5 meters and the remaining one with a dimension of 2.1 meters. We can do exactly the same with the vertical down pipe by selecting a split length of 1 meter. The other option that we have with the clip tool is to use Insert Clip automatically. By clicking on it, we are going to see 3 different options: starting point, selected point, and equal distribution. With the first one, the application will add the first clip at the beginning of the pipe that we are selecting, and all the remaining clips depending on the rules that we have defined before. With selected point, the application will add the first clip in the point that we are selecting, and again all the remaining clips according to the rules that we have defined previously. With equal distribution, the application will calculate the number of clips that are required on a specific pipe that we are going to select, and will put all the clips at an equal distance. In this example, we are using the first option. If you remember, since we have used the option Attach the clip to the support if possible, we have to select a support surface. In this example, we'll build our concrete horizontal slab. Then we have to click on the pipes, and we are going to see that automatically the application is adding all the clips. If you have a pipe with a slope, since we are selecting the option Attach the clip to the support if possible, the application is calculating automatically the distance and the length of the road between our clip and the support surface. This is another advantage by using the clip tool. We can do exactly the same for the vertical down pipe, but of course in this case we have to select a different support surface, the vertical wall. If you want to check at which distance we have the clips, we can decide to add a dimension. As you can see, every 1.1 meters we have a clip. This is because in this particular example we are using an external diameter of 110, and if you remember, previously I was telling you that for the horizontal spacing of the clips for an external diameter of 110, the length, the dimension is 1.1 meter. To sum up what we have seen for the clip tool, we have an automatic or manual placement of clips all around the pipes. We can have an automatic connection to the support surfaces. We can decide which kind of clips do we want to use inside our project, between M10 that is a light clip, ½ inch and 1 inch that are heavy clips, with or without anti-vibration strip. We can edit the bracketing rules if we want, and we can have an automatic cut of pipes according to a specified length. For this webinar is everything. Let me check if we have some questions from you. Okay, so we don't have any questions. I just want to thank you very much for your attention. Hope to see you again on another webinar of Valsir. If you want to see again this webinar or even the other webinar of Valsir, you can go on our social channels such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and LinkedIn. I just want to wish you a very good day and stay safe.